Hello there, it's Kim again with Wild Rose and Pearl. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based out of the Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm here today with day 3 of our advent calendar from Stampin' Up. So we've done day 1 and 2. Day 1, I made this sweet little card. Day 2, we ended up with some pattern paper. So I made this little card. Day 1 was, of course, die cuts, which we've got here, and then we added some new little butterflies to our die cuts. When you purchase the advent calendar, you also get a stamp set, which I can show here. It has a lot of stamps that are not Christmas related, so this can be for any time of year. So it's not just a Christmas advent in the sense that you would get Christmas things. It's a Christmas advent that allows you to make stuff all year long. Okay, so let's open up number 3. Okay, so here was number 1. Open that up again. That was our die cuts. We'll put those aside. Open up number 2. This is our pattern paper. It's one-sided. We've got a lot of cute colors in there, which I have pulled out today so that I have them on hand. And I've also pulled out some cardstock today. So when I go to create today, I'll have at least those 2 things. So let's see what's in pocket number 3. Alrighty. Pocket number 3. I'm trying to be so gentle with this box because I keep thinking I will probably reuse it for something. January Advent. Oh, wee. Oh, look at that. Some sparklies. You know what? I could make my other cards super sparkly with these. Okay. So the cards I've already done, I talked about how I wish I could have a little bit more embellishment so I could fancify up my other cards. I don't know if I call these shaker elements though. I mean, you could put them in a shaker, but let's have a closer look at these. I'm going to put them on my block here so that I can move them closer to the camera so you can have a closer look at them. Oh, I just tipped them right over off. Okay, so these are gold sparkles and they are, you know what I did find today? I had put away. I found my take your pick tool, but of course, you know, I don't have it here again. Got to be kidding me. Okay, so they are like mounted, but not in any sense that you couldn't mail them. They are, and then you've got 2 different sizes. You've got a big one here and a little one. They're not adhesive like our normal embellishments are, but I would say they are like a gem. Like there's a curve to them. I don't know how to explain that. They've got some depth to them like a gem, but they're just so pretty. They are so pretty. I don't know if it shows just how pretty they are, but they are so pretty. Yeah, and so then what you would do if you wanted to add some embellishment to something is you would just grab them. Just 1 second. I'm going to look for that take the pick. I know I brought it down here. There it is. Okay. I've got it now. Okay, take your pick. I'm going to use my little gummy end here, and I'm going to grab one of these with my little gummy end. Oh, looks like I've got cat hair in there. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, so you can see probably now, yeah, they're like a bump. So they're like a gem, right? But they are sparkly, and there's 2 sizes. They are so sparkly. But because they don't have an adhesive back on them, you're going to want to put them on a card by putting on just a dot of glue. So you could use a fine tip glue, or you could use, so I'm going to take this card that I made. This card is actually a lot cuter than it shows up on camera. It has dimension to it because I've used dimensionals to pop it up, right? So it is simple, but it's cute. So I would take, probably I could take 2 of these big ones, and you would just take a little bit of glue, and then you would add it, you know what? I'm going to add it to the center of my flowers here. Just one little drop of glue. And then I'll put one over here as well. So 3 little drops of glue. That's all I need to do. You can see here that I've just put on a tiny little drop of glue. That's all you're seeing, right? Then you would take your pick tool with your gummy on it. I'm going to use 2 small ones. And you would just place that. Of course, it won't come off the gummy now. If it comes off the gummy, right? You would just place that on that glue, and that would eventually cure and hold it down. A big one there on this big flower here, right? And then I would put another small one, making sure that my flat side is on the bottom. You just have to make sure you had your flat side on the bottom. Put one there. And like that just made that card just that extra bit better, right? By having a little bit of shine to it. Let's see. Did I do the same on this one? No, I've got my 3 die cuts there, so I'm going to leave that be. But yeah, that really adds to that card. Really makes that a lot better. Okay. So now that we've got our pretty little designs, what should I make today with my lovely, oh my goodness, there's so many of these, like I don't even, and they're exclusive to this set. So you can't get them in the online store. Man, did I ever spill a lot of them. But like, look at that. And I haven't even made a dent in there. They are so pretty. They remind me of that really shiny paper we had one year as a celebration reward. It was so sparkly. Very similar to that. Okay, just so sparkly. So I know I'm off camera. I'm just trying to get these back in the bag because they are, yeah, they're everywhere. I'm trying to get them back in the bag here. Okay. So we're going to make a card today. We will make a card today with these lovely little embellishments. And I'm not sure how to showcase them the best. I just think I'm going to put a ton of them on the card. How about that? We'll put a ton of them on the card. And next time I'm going to put them in a dish so that I can scoop them in a little bit better. So I'm going to put them in this little dish I got from it's magnetic. I got it from my upline. But I will put them in there, and then I know I'll be able to scoop them back in pretty easily, right? Like this. There we go. Okay, so let's put a few of them in there. They are so stinking pretty. I wish you could see how pretty they are. Okay, so we're going to put those up there. And we're going to make another card today. They are everywhere. Okay, let's see. We've got our stamp set. We've got our die cuts, and we've got our paper. We could make something a little extra fun today. What could we do? What could we do? Maybe. Ooh, I don't know which color to use. I don't know which color to use. I mean, I'm going to be able to use all the colors eventually. Maybe do this one. That would look really pretty with a little bit of gold on it. That would look really pretty with a little bit of gold. Yeah, maybe I'm going to use this one. I think I'll use this one. Do a thinking of you card. Thinking of you card. Let's do that. Okay, so we know which colors we need now. Let's go with either the Misty Moonlight. Oh, I think that's maybe I have in there. Misty Moonlight. Misty Moonlight looks nice. Misty Moonlight card base. Yeah, that's pretty. We'll do something real simple. I'm thinking of you. So I'm going to go 5.5 by 4 1/4. Now, do I have that in? I'm off camera here, but let's see. Do I have 4 1/4 by 5.5? Yeah, this is 4 1/4 by 5.5. So I'm gonna go. Just thinking of doing a fun fold, but it's not really double-sided. I'll wait for that. We'll just do a regular card base here. 4 1/4. We'll do it that way. By 5.5. So we do a 5.5 score line, right? And that gives us a card base. So we've got that now. Yeah, this is a pretty gold. This is going to be really, these will show up quite prominently on there. Okay, and then let's do a really large matting on this one. So we'll cut that at 4 inches. So we'll end up with a nice 2-inch strip for another project, right? 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we've got a lovely, lovely, lovely card base there with some designer series paper. Now we could do Thinking of You. And do you know what? Because I've got these lovely die cuts, I'm going to die cut some of the ones out that are these little sprigs. And then I'm just going to cut out of a piece of white, just a scrap piece of white, Thinking of You. I think if I was to just cut a square, let's see how big the stamp is. We're going to see how big the stamp is first. Healing Hugs, Thinking of You. This stamp is, if I did a 1 inch by 2 inch square, that would fit that quite nicely. So let's go 2 inches by 1 inch. By 1 inch. That is quite small. That's too small. So let's double it. Let's go 1.5 by 2.5. 2.5 by 1.5. Good. And then I'm going to pull in that Misty Moonlight again. Let's do another little mat with some of our scraps here. Okay. So we do 1.5 by, what was it? 2.5, right? So let's do 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. Again, these are going to be very simple cards, right? Very simple card. Okay. Two 3/4 by 1 3/4. Like, maybe even if we go like this. Yeah, that works really good. 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. put that on the bow. No, the flowers do seem like they're going up this way more. Okay, and then I'm going to add some of those sprigs on there that we had in this die cut set. Now, did I put those underneath? Yeah, I put them underneath. So if I added some of these in maybe this dark color there, we can put a few of these behind here. I've also got a little leaf that I could cut. Tiny little leaf in there. And I could cut this out and see if that adds to anything. That would be pretty too. Okay, so I'm gonna cut those all out in the darker blue. So that is, see, I grabbed the wrong one. So this is what I grabbed. I grabbed Night of Navy. I needed to grab Secret Sea. So here we go. I have some Secret Sea. You can tell that the color is a little bit different. It's kind of like a more black, but it also has like a green to it. So I just obviously was blind earlier today and didn't see what I was grabbing. But I now have this Secret Sea. So I'm going to do a few white ones and a few Secret Sea of the sprigs. We shall do that. Got a nice little scrap here. Perfect. And then a white scrap, I've got some pieces over here that I had cut. So we'll do that. I'm going to pull in my little mini machine here, my little mini boss, and we're going to cut a couple of pieces. Cut a couple of little pieces here. So we will put on one of these. Might as well do some double duty. So let's cut a little bit of this Secret Sea color. And we're going to do a big flower in that. And we're going to do a little leaf in that because it'll go up on the white. And then we'll do one white one of this. We'll do a couple of white ones of that and a couple of Secret Sea ones of that. Just to give it some variety, but also kind of monochromatic. Monochromatic meaning just shades of the same color, right? You're kind of sticking with the same colors. Now, this is so pretty because there's so many cutouts to this. Like all of these are little cutouts. So it is kind of the center of the flower, but on its own, I think it could be really pretty. I could just do a big white flower if I wanted to. But yeah, this Secret Sea color it's a lot of people's favorite. It's like using a new neutral. It's like having a new neutral, like a new black or a new navy. But it's just got this really rich tone to it. I don't know if you can see it as much on here, like on camera, but it just has just a very nice rich tone to it. So then we've got this little sprig. Oh, this is my favorite one. That one is so great. Okay, and then we've got this little leaf here. Okay, we're gonna do another one of these ones in the white, and then I want to come back and I want to do a couple more in the darker color. And the great thing about having all these little die cuts, like being able to do these little die cuts, is that you get all these layers to them, which is so different from any kind of card that you buy in a store. They're usually quite like flat, either a single layer or they have a little bit of foil to them, but they don't usually have a lot of dimension unless they're, you know, quite the pop-up card, right? Those ones will have a lot of dimension to them, but they'll also have a lot of price to them too, right? Always a little bit more expensive for those kinds of ones. Yeah. So we're running going through a couple of these. And I might just, you know, if I don't use them, I can always put them off to the side for later on in the week when I do another card release. If you can hear humming in the background, that's my washing machine on the spin cycle. Makes a little bit of a hum. And it can be a little annoying and loud. Yeah, this gold color is just it's gonna just pop with this strong blue. We've got the white on there, so it's gonna pop. It's just gonna pop, pop. Okay. So, die cut machine aside, and let's start putting some things together here. Let's start lining some things up, see how we like them. Okay, so we've got our card base. Then we've got our little mat. We've got a stamp area for this. Then we're going to put this one in the corner here. We can add a couple of pieces underneath here. If I put the white ones underneath, it generally showcases the darker ones a little bit better. It kind of gives them a bit of a separation from the other paper. I can add a white one up here, right? And then because we're doing a thinking of you, we could have a little petal kind of just falling down like it's falling. And then put a third one over here. That looks kind of pretty. I feel like I might want a white mat underneath. Let's see, how do we like that? If I did an extra white matting underneath, kind of like a reverse. I think I do like that. So that means I would have to take 1/4 of an inch more off the paper. 1/4 of an inch more off the paper, and I think we've got our idea down. Okay, so let's bring in a piece of white. We're going to do that 4 inches. 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then this one's going to be 3 3/4. By 5. I will keep these strips. They're still useful for something. 3 3/4 by 5. So we're always going by 1/4 inch increments, right? To make our matting. Okay. So I like that. That just pops it up a bit more. I could have done 1/16 of an inch, but I had a 1/4 of an inch between these ones too. So yeah, that's kind of, I like that a little bit better. It's a little more. Is there something in here that says one go smaller? No. Okay, so the other thing I can do is I can take these and put them in between the 2 layers. Rather than just through the back, I can actually put it in between the 2 layers. And then it looks even more like it's kind of, that matting is a little more separate. I think I might do that. Okay. So we're going to put this one down now. Just using some seal to place down my matting. Place down my matting here. And you're like watching me do this on the fly. My brain is working on the fly here. It's just working as I'm going. Okay. Then I'm going to add these underneath. So I'm doing the white and the dark blue and the white again. Let's see if I like this. Like this. And then my white will go on top. And then this one will go directly on top of that. Let's see, do we like that? Do we like the break in the paper there? Yeah, that looks pretty nice, actually. Let's see. Do you like that a little more solid? Maybe we do. Yeah, I think I like it a little more solid in the corner. Okay, so we're going to stamp on here. I think we will use, we're going to use Thinking of You right here. Pull in just a basic D block. We're going to rub that residue off and then wash it on my Stampin' scrub over here. Shakes the camera a little bit, I know. And then we're going to use Secret C for that. I want to get a nice solid color for my monochromatic design here. So we're just going to stamp that nice light tapping into your stamp pad. You don't need to squish it in. You can see it's nicely on there now. And then I'm going to put Thinking of You in this left-hand corner. Now, if I want to know it to be straight, I can always use my grid paper. Kind of line it up that way. Nice and straight. Thinking of You. There we go. I'll put that back over there. I've just got all of my colors lined up beside me. So we've got them all there ready to go. And then stamp and seal this onto here. I thought I was going to like them in between the layers, but because I've got the Thinking of You down there, I just want to anchor it with the corner. Solidly with the corner. Okay, then I'm going to grab a little bit of my Tombow glue. And it looks like I'm missing, well, getting one piece out of here. I always use my snips if I need to get it out. Oh. Looks like it came out okay. It was just caught up in the one corner there. So just a little dab of glue on there. Little dab will do. Little dab will do. A little dab will do. Okay, and we're going to place that in that corner. Then, what did I say? I was going to put the dark one here first. Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to place the dark one here in the corner. And then I'm going to back it with two white ones, just for a little more depth. One. I'm just pulling those ones off. And two. This is such a nice, just a nice break from prepping for the holidays, you know, getting to create. So then I'll use some dimensionals to pop that up. Yeah, and then I wanted to put this little leaf down here, right? Just as a, kind of like a dropped leaf, just a little dropped leaf. Okay, so now we'll just take that, put our little leaf on there, and then we're going to flip that over, put some dimensionals on, and then we will grab our Take Your Pick tool, another great tool. We're just gonna grab the backings, pick and pull. So you just poke into the back and then pull up, and those backings just pop right off. So we will place that on here, like so, right in the center there, nice and straight. And then I think I'm going to just add quite a few of these little gold embellishments here to the front of the card. If we add quite a few of these, they will kind of be the focal point. And if I put 3 across the top here, 1, 2, and 3, let's see if we like that. And then what I'll do is I'll just move them out of the way. Oops. And then add the glue to the paper so that it looks ready to go. So we've got another center of a flower here, which are great spots for you to put these. It's just in the center of miscellaneous flowers. Always looks nice to do that. It looks like a natural spot to put them, right? Or at the branch of a stem, or like where a stem meets. A stem meets a flower. But yeah, like the gold on there is so, pretty. Like it's such a contrast to the other colors that it's like bringing in another pretty color. So I think I take that one off. That one's a bit much. Well, that one's actually really nice down there. I think I'll keep that one on there. And then these ones look really pretty. What if I add another one to the stem of that flower? It's trying to figure out, you know, where you'd like them to be. If I put a lot down here in this bottom edge, it's a little bit better. I think I'll just put a small one down there. Maybe if I put a small one, but like I can't even believe how many there are of these lovely gems here. But yeah, to put a little bit in here, I don't know, maybe I could add this up here. No, that's a little too busy. Okay, so now what you do is you pull them away once you figure out where you want them to be, and then you just place your little dot of glue where you want them to be. And that's how you get those embellishments to stick on. Is you just grab a little tiny dot of glue, and then these three I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, kind of in a row there. Okay, now I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, my little gummy end, pick it up, place it down, and then use my finger to hold it on. I usually move it a little bit. Just grabbing that. What did I get on there? It's my hair this time, not the pet's hair. It's mine. Nobody wants that. Okay, 2. Put one here. One nice big one in the corner down here. These are just so pretty. Base of that flower, kind of where the flower meets. Sometimes it's just like, you can see just how very natural it is of a spot to put one of these. It's just like, this is the meeting point of all the stems. It's a really easy spot to put one. And then I want to put the big one in the center. And then 2, 1 on each side. I can shift this over too if I want. 1 there. And 1 here. With glue, you get a little bit of wiggle room time. So you can move it around. I'm just going to use the picky side now. Move it around and space it the way I want. Because I get a little bit of time before that glue dries. These are just so pretty. Can't even believe how pretty it is. Like, it's just so pretty, this gold. But you can see there, I've just added a little bit of gold to it. And now that's a nice sentiment card. Nice thinking of you card. You know what I should do? Put one right in the center of here. That would ground it a bit. Bring that in. Oh, I put my lid back on. Put that right there. Yeah, that kind of just keeps it all together. And then you kind of use the rule of thirds or rule of odds. So we've got 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So we've got our odd numbers. But yeah, so that's just something we're making today, just in a quick jiffy. We used a Misty Moonlight base. I would put inside, I would put a white piece. Let's do that. So we're gonna do the same matting as we had on the card. So that is going to be 5 1/4. And always keep your white scraps. They're so great for sentiment. 5 1/4 by 4. And we shall do that. I'm going to die cut another one of these little leaves here. Just to have the little leaf on the bottom. And another thing, when you go buy stuff that's kind of made at the store, a lot of times the envelope isn't decorated and the inside of the card isn't decorated. So, I mean, it has generally some kind of sentiment in it, which I like to leave mine blank so you can write your own words. Sometimes it's hard to find the words, but writing your own words and just having a little decoration inside that kind of ties the card. So this was a leaf on the ground. A lot of times I'll put it on this side because when you write a letter, you start your name here and then you sign your name at the bottom. So I'll put it on the inside and I will put it on the left-hand side of the card base just to match the front a bit. And then we'll use our seal to place our card. Yeah, I'm gonna love these shimmery gold pieces. These are so pretty. So pretty. And you can use them for quite a while. So yeah, so now the inside of the card is decorated to kind of match the outside of the card. And again, that's our day 3, are those beautiful gold gems. And as you can see, they're just kind of a little popped up. They're no deeper than, they'll go through the mail just fine. They're not huge, but yeah, look how pretty that is. Okay. That is today's Advent day for number 3. I hope this inspires you. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.